Hello my dreamers, it's Sky here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. Today we're going to be continuing on our April color along in Hannah Lynn's Fierce and Fancy Fantasy Faces. This is part 3, so if you haven't watched the first couple parts, definitely feel free to go do so. We've gotten quite a bit done and I'm excited to get quite a bit more done. This is what she's looking like so far. This is Happy Hatchling. We left off a little bit unsure about colors. I'm still a little bit unsure, but I think I've picked a route. I'm unsure of how it will look, but I think it will look pretty good, hopefully. We are going to do her eyes, the ponytail holders, the dragon, and the clouds. And then we'll kind of go from there and see how long that takes and see if we need a 4th part or if we're just going to finish it all in this part. I'm not too sure, but yeah, that's the plan. So I'm just going to zoom on in a little bit more and then we will get started. I'm just gonna make sure that this page is kind of tucked back here and clip my book though as well, because it makes it a lot easier to color. All right, I'll zoom in and we'll get going. I'm very excited to be able to finish her eyes and darken these up because I think it will help so much. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do that until we figure out the background, and I'm still not sure what we're going to do with that. I think having everything else colored is going to kind of decide on that. It's going to be our deciding factor. But I think I am going to stick to the colors we talked about for the dragon. I think I'm going to do them in mostly light grays. The muted turquoise kind of popped out at me a little bit too. Whether or not I add that color to him, I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. But I was thinking it might be kind of cute to have maybe his horns and the little spikes on his back. Gold maybe? I kind of want to add some gold metallic to this page, so I'm thinking about busting out my metallic watercolors a little bit later. I'm kind of thinking of doing the ponytails in like a gold metallic, maybe the dragon's scales, maybe little bits on his horns here, and then maybe outlining the clouds with the gold and doing like these little spots with the gold. But I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of playing around with that idea a little bit here, but I'm just thinking if we do that teal color, if that might be cute for his horns too, but I'm not too sure. Her eyes might be pretty with the teal color as well, and I kind of wanted to make them match the dragon a little bit, so we'll kind of see. I'm thinking the teal color for like his underbelly here. We can only see it in a couple spots, and maybe his little fin here as well. You can hardly see it, but he's just got a little bit of a fin there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think we will start on the dragon. I think that'd be a good place to start. So let's go ahead and do that. I am going to grab the muted turquoise though. I think I am going to use it. And I'm just going to kind of go with the flow, for lack of a better word. So I'm going to just put a little bit of this just on his underbelly here. And then, yeah, we'll do the fin and maybe his eyes as well. I think that'll be pretty cute. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm going to grab my darkest color, which is going to be the 70% cool gray. So we don't want this in too many places. We're basically going to put this in the areas where Hannah has the darkest shading. And I'm just going to lightly blush that in there and just slowly build up that color with some circles. So I'm going to go over the areas that Hannah has shaded and I'm going to lightly fade out from those. Keeping in mind that for the most part, we want this little guy to be white. I only really want the grays as an accent, or as a shadow, sorry. He is pretty stinking cute, though, I must admit. I did have the 50% out as well, but I'm actually thinking that maybe that's going to be too dark. Maybe not. No, I feel like it might be. I don't want to regret adding this. I'm going to set it aside for now. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to grab the 20%. Let's go in with that and see. Thinking maybe I should have actually grabbed the 30%. Hold on here. Maybe I should have gone in between those two colors. Just want to checking on my swatch book here just to see the color difference. Yeah, I think I'm going to grab the 30% actually. I'm not going to use the 20% or the 50%. At least not yet. Whether I actually grab those out in the future is to be determined, but for right now, trying to do everything one-handed is very, very tricky. No, I'm not going to sharpen that yet. Okay, so with the 30%, I'm going to go over top of the shadows and I'm just going to bring it out a little bit. Not too far, because again, we want this to be fairly light. We don't want the grays completely taking over. We want them kind of like a complementary color. A little bit of a shadow on his little fingers there, or claws, paws, whatever you want to call them. Oh, he's so sweet. His little expression is so cute. I think this may be one of my favorite dragons that Hannah has drawn thus far. Okay, same thing. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow on this paw as well. Okay, 10% cool gray is next. So again, just going to kind of bring this out from those colors as well. And right now I'm just going to lightly go over everything. We're still going to add some colors in here. So I don't want to burnish this, but I do want a base layer of the gray. Okay, let's go in with some colors and hope this doesn't bite us in the butt. So I'm just gonna pick out some areas here. And I'm kind of like seeing just like little circles in some areas. So I'm just gonna build up that color till it's pretty bright and then fade it out a little bit. Let's maybe put one here. Make this one a little bit bigger. Let's put one on his cheek here maybe. Okay, looks good so far. Let's go in with the pink. Add a little bit in beside this one, maybe a little bit up here. Down by his foot maybe. Up on his head. There. Oh, look how cute he is. I think it looks pretty good. I kind of like it actually. Hopefully you guys agree. I don't know why I seen him like that in my head, but I just did. I'm gonna grab my white, which is gonna be our blender to kind of keep everything muted, I think. I don't know so much if I want to go over the little patches of color we popped in there. Should we maybe go over them a little bit more or just leave them as is? I think we just won't go over them, but I want to keep them kind of pastel, so I don't really want to darken them up too much. So let's go in with the white. So I'm going to kind of blend up to those patches, but then I'm going to leave them alone. And if that looks funny, then we'll go ahead and we'll blend those too, but hopefully we won't need to. The little bits where we faded them out should kind of blend in with the white, and hopefully that will be enough. I am going to go over the lines for him too, actually. Maybe not all right now though, because there are still some other areas we need to color, but I can go over in some of the areas where we're pretty much done coloring. And what I mean by that is we have the scales still, so I'm not going to bother doing this line. I don't know if I'll bother doing this one either because we still have to finish off the underbelly for him, that kind of thing. I am obsessed. And I think having little pops of gold in here is gonna really add to that. I was kind of debating adding like a piercing to her face as well, but I'm not really sure what I would want to do. I was thinking like maybe like a little eyebrow piercing or something. It's hard to do like a nose piercing on them, but that would be cute too. Or like maybe one of those little like, what do you call it when you have a piercing right here? I can't remember. Do like a little 2-dot piercing there. It might not interpret well though, so that's kind of what's stopping me from doing that. Just not too sure. Oh, super dreamy, very subtle, very sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the muted turquoise. We're gonna add a little bit more of that. So I'm gonna go pretty boldly across these lines here. And then I'm just gonna lightly color through them again. So fairly sharp pressure going across the lines. Light pressure, adding more of that pigment in there. I think it might look funny having his horns gold too. We might still put little bits of gold on there, but let's do his horns the same as we're doing his underbelly here. His eyes, we don't really have a whole lot of room, but I'm just going to darken up either side and just kind of leave it like that, I think. Or her. Like I said, your dragon can be whatever you would like it to be. I think I'm going to use the 10% cool gray to kind of blend, and I'm going to go not with the lines, but against them. So that'll help kind of smudge that muted turquoise in a little bit. There we go. Back in with the muted turquoise because I totally forgot his fin. Just going to do the same thing there. I'm not going to bring the swatch back because we're going straight back to the muted turquoise, but I'm going to take our 10%. Same thing going against the grain there. Okay, and then with the muted turquoise, I'm going to outline his horns, his little fin. I'm going to redefine these lines too a little bit. I'm gonna maybe add a little bit to the little lines in his skin here on his paws. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so let's move on to the gold parts of him. So I am probably going to use my Gansai Tambi colors, my starry colors, metallics to go back over this, but I am just going to color them gold as well, just for people that don't have any metallics, that might not have that as an option, and then just so we can kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like as well. So with the yellow ochre, I'm just lightly going over these little frills. They're going to be a little bit tricky to make look gold because they are so tiny. Okay, we're gonna go in with the dark umber first, and I am not kidding when I say you want the sharpest pencil possible. Some serious business we're doing. I'm gonna outline these guys a little bit here. I'm going to try to go kind of in between the line on each one. So kind of like we're leaving the center a little bit lighter. We don't want to add too much of the dark umber. Ooh, and it would absolutely help if I put the swatch facing the right way. I think I'm going to go over this line, actually, this bottom line. I was originally going to do it with the white, but I think we want this to stand out, actually. So maybe I think the dark umber would be a good one to go over this line with. I want it to be slightly noticeable, but I also don't want to go too much. It's kind of like a fine line that we're trying to balance on. Okay. Now that we have that, we're going to go in with the bronze, and again, we want a super sharp pencil. So I'm going to give mine a good sharpen. So just going to check and make sure that I haven't moved to the page any. Look at how sharp this point is. That is not going to stay like that. Second scale in, it's going to break a little bit, I bet. I'm going to work really gentle, really light, just to make sure it doesn't. So going in over top of the dark umber and just bringing this out a little bit, trying my best to leave a little spot in the center for that yellow ochre. It is possible. You just have to want it bad enough. Okay, back with the yellow ochre. I'm not too worried about sharpening this one. It's pretty decent, and I want to kind of use this to blend together anyways. So I'm just focusing on scale by scale though, because I don't want to get rid of that dark outline of them. So just adding this in on each individual scale. Okay, and then what I would do, but I'm not going to do because I will probably do this after. If you're not going to use the metallics, I would take a white pen, a really fine white pen, and just add a little highlight, just a little dash to each of these, or like a little kind of half circle. If you want to wait and see how I do mine after I put the metallic down, you can definitely do that and wait. Totally up to you. I'm going to bring the 70% cool gray back a little bit though here, and I want to kind of define some of these lines on him a little bit here. Kind of lost them a little bit with the white, which isn't bad. I do want that white in there, but anywhere where it seems a little bit disjointed or like you can't really tell what's going on, I'm going to darken up his little nostrils as well here. Maybe I changed my mind. I'm going to go over the white and bring this back out. There we go. That is better. Add a little bit of a line just right here too, where he kind of wraps around her arm. There. I think that looks pretty good. If you don't like the gold, white might also be good, just like a really bright white. I, however, really like the gold, and it will look a little bit different when we add the other gold accents in there. Let's do her eyes. Getting all my colors mixed up here. Goodness, they're everywhere. My color swatches anyway. So I'm going to grab the muted turquoise. I'm going to pop that in over these shadows and then bring that out a little bit. Just kind of fade it out from there. Just lightly going over the whole area. We're not going to do a whole bunch for her eyes. We might add some gold flecks in her eyes as well later on, but for now we're just going to do the muted turquoise and we're going to finish it off with the white. So I'm going to go in with the white on these lighter parts here, and I'm just going to blend that towards the shadows. I'm not going to fully go over the shadowed part though, because I don't want to lighten that up. So again, just over the light area, coming up to the shadows, fade it out towards it. All right, I feel like we're making great time too. We're only at half an hour. I guess I don't need to move that down or up. I don't need to move that anywhere. I do want to sip my coffee though. Okay, let's move on to these clouds. So I'm going to grab my Deco Peach. And I'm going to base these clouds here with this, just lightly. And we're going to work from lightest to darkest, kind of building up that shadow. So with the hot pink, we're going to go in these shadowy parts. So we're going to bring this up a little bit and fade it out. The light peach is, or the Deco Peach, sorry, is our lightest color. So we just want to make sure that we're fading out and saving a little bit of room for that. Trying to use just a light pressure. Okay, that's a good start. So processed red is next. Same thing. Going over those darker areas, and then we're going to bring it up a little bit and fade it out, leaving some of the hot pink showing this time. Okay, and then our darkest color is going to be the dioxazine purple hue. So I'm just going to color this little triangle fully in. I'm just going to color that right in. We're not going to bother with that anymore. And then we're going to add a little bit of this to the darker bits of these clouds. We don't need a whole lot. I'm just going to add a little bit, fade it out. And I'm working in real light layers, just going over it a little bit to build up that color. So a little bit of this coming out from behind her arm here. I think other than that, we'll leave that one. Okay, super pretty, I'm liking that. And then we're gonna work our way back through those colors. So process red is next. So we're gonna work out from that dioxazine purple hue. Again, just working in lighter circles here. Fading it out. Kind of adding to this kind of bubbly shape here. I'm a little bit perplexed that I still don't really know what to do with the background. I thought it would have come to me by now. This spot here, I think we're mostly just going to color in. I'm not going to burnish with this, but I'm going to put a pretty decent layer on there. We'll probably burnish the shadows in with the hot pink and then the lighter areas with the Deco Peach. So hot pink is next up. So again, going over those shadow colors, bringing it up a little bit, fading it out. So I'm using kind of like a medium, light medium pressure. Again, just making sure to leave a little bit of lightness for the light peach or the Deco Peach. super pretty. Okay, Deco Peach is next. So I'm going to start from the lighter area here and just work into the, pretty much up to the processed red. I don't want to go over the dioxazine with this. Okay, looks pretty good. I am going to bring the dioxazine purple hue back here though. And I am just going to put a little bit in here. And then I am going to bring the hot pink back. Because I don't think I did go over this spot. It doesn't look like it anyways. If I did, I didn't do a very good job. That's better. I don't think I did. And then I might regret this. Hold to see if we like this or not. Or see if you like it realistically, because you could just not do it. I'm going to add a little bit of deeper pops of colors just in the center of these spots on our dragon. I think I like it. It definitely stands out a lot more. I'm going to do the true blue with the blue ones. I'm just going in lightly and building up that color because I don't want to just do like one like large dark circle because it's going to look funny. I think I like it. I think it stands out a lot more. I kind of feel like it needed that. Back up to her eyes. I'm going to grab the 20% if I can find it here. We didn't use the 20%. I'm going to use the 10%. And I'm going to color over the grayscale part and pretty much just like the whole white part of her eye. Might as well. There we go. Okay, so we're only at about 46 minutes. I do want to, on her pigtails, if you're not doing the gold, I would use pink. So I'm just going to go over these with the hot pink. I get a decent amount of pigment on there. We're going going to go in with the Process Red on either side, kind of bringing it out towards the middle a little bit, fade it out. And then you probably guessed it, if I can grab it, Dioxazine Purple Hue. Again, a little bit on either side. And then I'm just going to go back in with the hot pink and I'm going to blend it all together that way. I think I'm going to keep this part fairly short. I think we're going to leave it off here. There is still quite a bit of detail work to do, so I do feel like we'd have a substantial fourth part. And also, I need to make supper, so I don't really want this to turn into a, like, I could just stop now and film the rest of it tomorrow, but I feel like what we have left is actually going to take a little bit. And I don't want to have a really, really long third part. I would rather have 2 shorter parts than a very long part. And then it gives me a little bit of time to think on the background because I'm just not too sure. I'm gonna have to look up some ideas, but yeah, background aside, we're going to fancy up her eyelashes, which are really gonna make her eyes pop. I'm thinking we'll do like a little bit of gold flecking in her eyes. We'll do gold on the dragon. We'll make the dragon's eyes pop a little bit. Little scales and dots here will be a little bit of gold. We'll outline the clouds in gold. I think it'll look pretty neat. I'm still debating putting a piercing on her, but I'm not too sure. Even just something like this. Would that look funny? I don't know. Or like maybe I said one of these. Do one on either side. Okay, give her a lip piercing. Ooh, that might be cool. Give her angel bites. No, that might be too much. Do like a little bead on her lip. I don't know. I just feel like she needs to be a little bit more badass. So I think it might be cool to have some piercings on her. And with doing the metallic, we can. If you didn't do metallic, or if you can't do metallic, you might not be able to do that. You could go in with like a black marker and maybe do it that way. But I'm going to look up different kinds of face piercings and then we'll kind of play around with that next time. The nice thing is we can use this as a little bit of a guide and kind of see how it would look. But I do think I like the idea of doing a lip piercing, whether it's like a circle one or not, like a small circle here maybe, or like one of those wraparound ones. I think either one might look good. Yeah, I'm gonna look some up and see, and then we'll kind of decide from there. And you can decide if you want to do that as well when you see what it looks like. You've already seen what it looks like. Never mind. You know if we did or not. I always forget that. I show you guys the picture before these videos are out. I used to do it the other way, so you guys wouldn't know until the videos were done. But yeah, I think this is a good place to stop. So I'm going to say goodbye here, and I'm very excited to see you guys in part 4. If you are liking these videos, if you could give it a thumbs up, I would super appreciate it. It helps me and the channel out and recommends these videos to other people who might enjoy them. So big thank you if you liked the video. And with that being said, hopefully I will see you in part 4 where we get to finish her. Super, super excited. I hope you are too. All right, guys, as always, take care and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.